Good day, everybody. This is Chris with the Mind Divided, and I hope this finds you all doing well, doing whatever it is you may be doing. So I wanted to do a quick update on the bike situation. So as I talked about in the prior video involving my stolen bike, the insurance company did pay out, and they paid out for significant cost of the bike plus a lot of the aftermarket accessories that I had on the Pony Rustler, and that they gave me about $4,000 to play around with. Initially, I had shortlisted the kind of bike I was looking at, either a Trek Fuel EX or the Santa Cruz Tallboy 650B Plus. And I finally decided to go with the Tallboy. I was going to go with the Carbon, the CS build, and we'd placed the order, and then the bike shop called me and said that they were basically back ordered a couple months, almost a couple months on the kind of Tallboy that I was looking for. And then I'd also looked at, well, let's look at some other plus size options, and I noticed that the Hightower, which is the 135 mil trail bike, has a plus option. I could get the lower end build is the R, the S build, the lower end with the C carbon frame for just about $4,000, and we looked at that, and that was back ordered even more. We looked at both color options, and both were pretty well back ordered. And so then I talked with the bike shop a little more, and we decided to do something a little different for this particular bike. And the area that I feel that I'm the weakest in is really negotiating technical steep terrain, downhilling, all mountain kind of riding. And I just don't feel like I've had a bike yet that I feel really confident throwing into highly technical terrain. And so we actually took a step back from the plus size bikes and broadened what we were looking at for a bike. And we eventually came to look at the Bronson. I came to look at the Bronson, and what really appeals to me about the Bronson is the geometry, and the geometry is a very slack head tube angle, and it's about 66 degrees this year, so it's very aggressive, very low down, really good head tube angle for a descending and technical terrain, but has a very steep seat tube angle, which facilitates good pedaling efficiency. And the virtual pivot point suspension of Santa Cruz is actually a pretty good pedaling platform, and you get good feedback from it in technical situations while pedaling. So I feel that was a good compromise. And the fact that it has 150 millimeters of travel both front and rear was really nice as well. The current iteration or current generation of these Santa Cruz Bronson bikes are all boosted, so it has the Boost 110 hub spacing up front and the 148 in the rear. So with that in mind, what that allows me to do is save up a little bit, and I can actually buy a larger rim for the front tire at least. And the bike that I'm looking at comes with a 27 millimeter rims, which I could probably fit a 2.5 inch tire on the 27 millimeter rims. Maybe 2.4 would probably be the optimal. 2.5 might be pushing a little bit. But if I saved up at least for the front tire, I went with a 35 millimeter rim, which I should easily be able to get into the Fox fork, the front suspension that has the Boost 110 spacing. Then I could run a mid-fat 650B plus tire, all the way up to 3 inches potentially. Really looking at 2.8, max is 2.8, which is what I was running on the Pony Rustler. The rear tire is going to be a bit of a compromise for me. I could get a larger rim for the rear. However, Santa Cruz posts and their technical specifications, you really shouldn't be putting more than about a 2.4, 2.5 inch tire on the rear, regardless of the size of rim. And that's simply due to the fact that you're going to have a limited amount of clearance in the rear. So I'm going to be limited in the rear. So I'm hoping what I can do is I can do like a mid fat front, and maybe go with a 2.4, 2.5 inch in the rear, and see if that turns out to be a good compromise for me. And then throw in the really aggressive geometry, all mountain enduro geometry, that ultimately I will benefit from becoming a better rider and being able to improve my technical skills because I'll feel more confident in the bike. So that's the plan of attack, and that's what we're doing right now. So here we go. So I just want to show you guys the bike that I decided to get. So we were looking at both the aluminum and the carbon C builds, and initially I was looking at the carbon C, the carbon R build for $38.99, which is right about the $4,000 price point. You can see the weight is really nice. It's under 30 pounds, and it has a Fox Rhythm 34 150, SRAM NX, which I don't have a whole lot of experience with the NX. Primarily, my experience has been with GX 1x11s, and then the Shimano XT, XTR, and SLX. So this is what I initially looked at getting, was the carbon C frame and the R build. And then the bike shop did a little research for me, and they realized if we go with the aluminum build, there's actually an S. If we go over here to our S, there is an S build for the aluminum frame. Now, it's a little heavier, right? It's 30.19 pounds, so it's a little less than a pound heavier. But we noticed something right off the bat. Right, for roughly the same cost, I could get an aluminum frame, but instead of the Fox 34, I could get the Fox 36 factory 150 performance, which is arguably a better fork than the 34. The stanchions are larger, has less flex, and it's just simply appears to be a much better fork. And the guys at the bike shop have stated that they've had really good experience with that. And in addition to that, I would be upgrading my drivetrain essentially from an NX to a SRAM GX Eagle, which is a 1x12 version of the SRAM GX drivetrain, which is in my mind a significant upgrade from the SRAM NX long cage 1x11 setup. And I'd have a much larger range. So instead of the rear cassette at a 10x42, I'd have a 10 to 50 range, which would really help me. We do a lot of climbing here in New Mexico. It's pretty mountainous, believe it or not, and I end up doing a lot of climbing. So I believe that those two upgrades alone are very compelling. And in addition to that, instead of the SRAM level T brakes, I'd be running the Guide R's, which are ultimately the brakes that I ended up running on the Pony Rustler, and they seem to work okay. They modulate quite well. So those three things, upgrade in the brake, upgrade in the drivetrain, and upgrade in the fork, really seemed to outweigh the carbon frame in a little less than a pound of difference. And ultimately what we did is I decided to take the hit on weight and go with a 30-pound bike. And remember, the Pony Rustler was about 32 pounds. So I'm still running a very capable 150 millimeter front and rear travel bike with aggressive geometry, and it's about 2 pounds lighter than the trail bike that I was riding prior to this. Again, a lot of the weight of the Pony Rustler is, of course, going to be in those large mid-fat, those large whiskey parts rims and those large plus-size tires, right? So yeah, that's where a lot of that weight difference comes into play. But here I have a bike that has more travel, it has more aggressive geometry, and much better spec for a modest increase in cost, if you will. So I ended up deciding to order the Bronson alloy frame in the S build, and I really think that is the best bang for my buck, so to speak, even though it is not the C carbon frame. I feel like the specifications, the GX Eagle, the Fox 36, and the Guide R's are going to be formidable upgrades and are going to outweigh the fact that I'll have a lighter carbon frame. So the bike was ordered, and I've got this nice black and chili pepper red color frame that's coming. And hopefully by the end of the week, maybe we've got Thanksgiving coming up. So the shop's going to be closed for a couple of days. So it's kind of a crapshoot if I'll have this by the end of the week or not. But certainly by next week, I should have this, and hopefully I'll be able to get an initial impression video out for you guys. But I just wanted to do a quick video explaining the decision I went with, and also explaining why I decided to go this route and backtrack somewhat from the plus sized riding that I've been doing for basically a year. And I think I can make some good compromises, and I think that this platform will be able to benefit me in the areas where it counts, and will help me improve my skills in the areas that I feel need the most improvement. Okay, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'd really love to see what you think of the decision that I went with, and I'd love your comments below. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video. All right, you guys take care and have fun doing whatever you may be doing.